Understanding Education, Talk 2, that is Education and its Basis. So, we'll be starting Education and its Basis, that is the Unit 5, Socio-Physiolo- Socio-Philosophical Basis. Socio-Philosophical Basis, Unit 5, MES-11, that is the second block, Education, its Basis. So here today we'll be seeing that how education is a subsystem of society and what are the different bases upon which the educational structure operates. The social system consists of political system, economic system, educational system, out of which educational system is a subsystem of social system. And all these things are interlinked and developed in one aspect of social life and has implications for one another. The each and every one, that is the political system, the economic system, the educational system, everything is interlinked and they affect each other. So first we have to consider here what are the different subsystems and education as a subsystem. So education as a subsystem is influenced by the political scenario of a country. The political system affects the goals and objectives of educational system. That is, the aims and objectives of a particular educational system in a society is affected by the political scenario of that particular society. So educational practices, methods are then designed to perpetuate that particular important political scenarios, concept or ideologies. So for example, we are living in a democratic society, so where we will find how the principles and values of democracies find place in the educational aims and objectives. And accordingly, we'll see that the aims and objectives have been modified and the methods of teaching are carried out in the light of these aims and objectives. Then we see that the educational system of a country is also linked with its culture. That is the way of our lifestyle, our traditions, our customs, and the past and present in several ways are interlinked with the cultural values and that provide a basis for the aims and ideals of education. So here we'll see that the incorporation of culture in the educational curricula ensures its transmission to the next generation. So, as we know from the yesterday's class, that is, education plays an important role in the transmission, preservation, and enrichment of cultural values. So, here also we see that cultural values are carried forward to the successive generation through the process of education. So, education in a society operates in a social milieu which is characterized by socio-political and philosophical thought on one hand and social customs, traditions, goals on the other hand. So these are the bases upon which the educational subsystem is developed or tries to rise up. So here education, it is an instrument for improving the overall quality of the society. So here we have to say that it functions as important unit or component of the society which helps in the overall social development. The social bases include the political, economic and cultural aspects of social life, and the philosophical bases include philosophical thoughts and ideologies. History also serves as an important base for the identification of goals, content, and process of education. So here we have a past. History is what? Story of man, his and story. So here we have to say that right from history also we can get some ideas which help to frame the aims and objectives of the present educational system. Then education and schooling. Yesterday also we tried to differentiate between what is literature who is known as knowledgeable, then who, what is the meaning of schooling, what is the meaning of education. So schooling or school is a place where formal education is provided. It is in a systematic process carried out. So here schooling refers to the more organized form of education that takes place in school. So, as we know, there are three forms of education, that is formal, informal, and non formal. So, the best possible example of formal system of education is school. So, this particular school is a formal setup where we find the aims and objectives are prefixed. There is a timetable, there is an admission procedure, there is particular teaching and learning procedure is there, and there is also a prefixed evaluation system. And accordingly, the assessment is carried out, and finally, the certification of the student is given as a pass out. Then we see that major purposes of schooling. What are the different major purposes of schooling? So, according to Stephen, according to Stephen, that in 1998, Stephen told that there are three important purposes of schooling. That is, first one is transmission of school knowledge. Second one is the socialization process. Third one is the social selection process. So, as we know that these three are very important for the entire development of society, that is transmission of knowledge. So knowledge, that to formal knowledge, is carried out in school and it is transmitted generation to generation through the schooling process. Then socialization, as we know that right from our family where we take birth, the socialization process is carried on and it continues from family to neighborhood, then to the formal setting, that is the school. Then social selection, the different types of social rules and regulations, and accordingly we are given some of the other role to perform. So then we have to see that what are the roles we have to perform as a student, as a family member, as a friend. So in that way we have different roles to perform. For example, me as playing as a daughter at one time, when I was a student at that time, when I am teaching, a teacher at a time. In the same way, a particular individual performs different types of social roles. So one has to do justice to that, and one has to learn how to do it in a disciplined and in a socialized manner. Education helps to do that. Then we see that what are the different factors which affect social change and how education also causes social change. So we say that social change is the is found in each and every society, and there are some agents and factors affecting the social change. What are they? That are the acts and legislations, then economic trends, development of projects, welfare measures sponsored by international agencies, modern technology, mass media, reform measures, mass communications. These are some of the agents or factors that cause social change. Social change is a change from the general way prevailing condition or normalcy of the society. So here we have to say that from our day to day life, something that is changed in the society is said to be a social change. And these are the factors which affect or which cause social change. And education, it is through the medium of education that society can bring desirable change in different dimensions and can modernize itself with the changing time. Education brings change in a desirable way in society which has a long standing bearing. So education acts as an important instrument or tool which cause important social changes. So for example, education as a subsystem in society is also affected by different types of political scenario. For example, here we say that in in democratic setup, we find that the democratic values are enshrined in the aims and objectives. In totalitarian setup, we find that one has to obey the rules and regulations of the state. So here we have to say that according depending upon the political ideology and political values, the aims and objectives of the educational system is arranged. Now, we will see that how culture affects education and what is the relationship between education and culture. So here we see that culture has been derived from a Latin word that is known as culta. So, etymologically, culture is derived from Latin term culta, which means to cultivate or till. So, culture is what a person cultivates in his living through the process of education and environment given by the society. So, culture in literal sense is something cultivated. So, here we can say that the different types of traditional values, folkways, customs, dressing pattern, eating habits, the way we celebrate our festivals, all these things are coming under a broad heading that is known as culture. Again, definition of Rugg says that culture is the total life of people that goes on with these groups. So I would like to quote the definition of E.B. Tyler. Culture is that complex whole which includes knowledge, belief, art, morals, laws, customs, and any other capabilities and habits acquired by man as a member of society. So all those qualities, habits, capabilities acquired by an individual in interacting with the family members, with your friends, with the society as whole. All these things which we have learned come under a big heading that is culture. Again, what are the different characteristics of culture? So the different characteristics of culture is what? Culture is acquired. We acquire it. Culture is shared. We share with other fellow beings of the society. Culture is conservative. We try to conserve our cultural values, our traditional values. Culture is transmitted. That is, cultural values are transmitted from one society to another, from one generation to another. Culture is integrated. It is a wholesome thing. That is, it includes the way we behave, the way we dress, the way we eat, the way we celebrate festivals, the way we interact. All these things are interrelated or integrated. Then culture is changeable. So here something new comes out, we try to learn that thing. Something new we see or carry out changes our past culture. So here culture is also changeable. So what are the different functions of culture? So culture makes a man social, it helps for social control, it develops individuals' personality, it decides people's career, then it provides a mean for economic needs. So here we can say that culture is very important, and we also say that culture and education are very much interlinked. So here the different types of culture. Basically, according to Elwood says that mainly there are two types of culture, that is material culture and non-material culture. So material culture includes man-made objects. That is, it includes all those things that are observable, that are tangible and concrete. Things which we can touch, see, and made by us. That is man-made objects. For example, machines, tools, utensils, houses, all these things come under what? Material culture. Then, what is a non-material culture? It is just the opposite. That is, it comprises of abstract things, intangible things that we are not able to touch. For example, customs, beliefs, attitude, values, religion, even education, these all things come under the non-material aspect of culture. So both material and non-material affect the individual's life and also society at large. Again, yesterday I was talking about cultural lag. So Ogburn is the sociologist who gave the concept of cultural lag. So what is cultural lag? The strain that exists between the correlated parts of culture that changes at unequal rates of speed may be interpreted as lag behind the other. So this means when the speed between the material and non-material culture does not move, both of them does not move with the same speed, they don't move in a parallel way, then we say that there is a difference between material and non-material culture. Again, that gap is known as cultural lag, lag. So here, so cultural lag operates mostly due to man's ideologies, due to conservative attitude of man. So here, man's inclinations to tradition, he is not able to change social institution at par with changes in technology. So material culture refers to changes that are brought due to technological inventions, discoveries, scientific inventions. So they change at very fast or have a greater speed in comparison to the non-material culture. So non-material culture is directly related to the attitude, values, or man's thought process. So this takes more time to change. So therefore we can see that is the material culture changes or moves faster in comparison to the non-material culture. So we can say that education here plays an important role to change our attitude, to accept the new things, to change our thought process, to change our superstitious values and beliefs, to develop scientific temper, to develop scientific thought process. So, here again, we see that culture generally includes the patterns and products, and culture is transmitted from generation to generation. It constitutes heritage and tradition. It is learned and shared. So, culture has different traits, and small cultural configuration is also there. Cultural configuration refers to subcultures. The subcultures they combine to form a complex cultural configuration. So here, for example, in Odisha, the Katakis have different type of style of eating. Then we have a feeling regarding people living in Sambalpur. Then we have something we say that people who live in Dhinkana are not so intelligent enough. These all things they have their own typical subcultures, and again we all combine to have an culture belonging to the state of Odisha. In the same way, these all small cultural traits they combine to form a complex cultural configuration. Then culture, education as an instrument of culture. So how education is an instrument of culture. So culture and education are interrelated. That's why education is acting as an instrument. So what are the different functions it performs? So education as a cultural instrument performs three important functions. That is the conservation, the transmission, and renewal of culture. These are three important functions that is performed by education as an instrument of culture. So, the renewal of culture is due to the process of modernization, due to the process of westernization, due to the process of urbanization. We have changed a lot, and this has also affected our living style also, even in our family life also. No more we are able to see joint families. Nowadays, we are living in nuclear families due to urbanization, due to employment gains. People are leaving villages and their families, they are coming out and staying in cities. Even the cities are overcrowded and overpopulated. Therefore, there is the growth of slum areas. So here we see that different kinds of things are popping out, and the different processes behind them are urbanization, modernization, westernization. These all are affecting directly or indirectly our lifestyle, thought process, our culture, values, traditions, folkways, ethics. Then we move on to another thing, that is culture and social groups. How culture affects social groups. So here we have to say that What is a social group? So social group is where we see that people live together, they have a typical behavior pattern, and they have a we feeling among themselves. So basic characteristic of a social group is what? Members of the group, they synthesize their action, they have their own rules and regulation, they maintain social order and equilibrium, they try to shape their behavior and plan actions according to the group norms and regulations, and there is cooperation and reciprocity. That is, they interact with each other. They have a we feeling, they have a groupism, they have their own typical social groups. So here we see that they follow the group rules and regulation. They identify with their group members. They have a we feeling towards their group members. They try to separate themselves from members from the other groups. So here group membership and individual behavior. How culture affects group membership and individual behavior. Here we can say that an individual member violating the group norms and policies may also lose membership of the group. So here we say that the different rules and regulations are there of specific groups. So these rules and regulations are to be followed by each and every member of that particular group. And if that particular member does not obey the rules and regulation, he is thrown out of the group. He is termed as an antisocial being. He is not conforming or obeying the rules and regulations of the society. So here we have to say that it is compulsory to obey the norms, rules, and cultural values of that particular group of which you are a member. Then different types of values are also developed. What are these values? That is tolerance, accommodation, sympathy, we feeling. These are the important values that will help to develop better social relation among the members of the group. And education helps a lot. An educated individual will understand the different types of problems another individual is facing. He will have sympathy, he will have empathy, he will understand the meaning of live, let live others, will not be selfish. So these all things are to be developed. Then here education as an agent of social change. So as I had already mentioned, there are different factors affecting social change. Education is also one of the important factors which causes social change. So what are the different things that are what are the different changes that are brought about by education? Education brings about changes in attitudes, beliefs, values. For example, after the post independence period, we see that after independence, we see there is upliftment of women education. Caste system is no more rigid nowadays. Intercaste marriages are seen nowadays, and no more we find child marriages. All these things are possible due to the advancement of education. Education is the only instrument which has brought all these changes. Then again, we have to see that how social change has an impact on education. So social change and education are interrelated. So impact of social change on education says that there is a reciprocal relationship. So here it also influences the socio-cultural changes that takes place in the society, and we see that reorganize itself in tune with change social of the society. Right now, that if we see the past history of Indian education, right from the Gurukula system, we see at that time education delivery of teaching learning process was quite different from nowadays. There was there were Gurukula ashrama, there was Guru Sishya relationship, there was residential system of living. Then the Buddhist, during the era of Buddhism, we find Buddhist monasteries where we find the educational scenario is quite different from nowadays. Then we find the medieval period
Madam,
where we
uh,
find Islamic system of education.
madam,
Islamic system of education where we find Madrasa and Maktab. Maktab are the primary educational institutions and madrasa are the higher educational institution. Then we find the British system of education where we
Madam,
find the
can you please
importance
hear
of
me?
English education.
Madam,
Yes,
madam,
sir.
there are two other members. So can you please mute them because I'm listening other noises outside from there. Madam, mute other members, please.
Okay, fine. Let me see. Who are they? I'm not able to see them.
It is fine.
Sasmita Sai and other members are there, ma'am. Please mute them.
I'm not able to mute them. It's better. Sasmita, you mute your mic, please. Can you hear me? Please mute your mic. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Ma'am,
So,
still there is one member remaining. Classroom one, ma'am. Can you please request him or her? The name is not showing here, so
classroom one.
yes, ma'am.
Classroom one is, I think, sir must be there over there.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine, everyone.
Yes.
Okay. Please, everyone, mute your mics. Okay. So, where were we? So, during the British period, we see that we have more emphasis, they used to give more emphasis upon English medium. English medium education should be provided through English medium. They wanted to create clerks, or rather, they wanted to have people who will assist in their administration. So, in that way, they wanted to focus upon English education, and English education was limited to only upper caste people used to get that. So they wanted to create people for white collar jobs. But after independence, that is according to Article 45, that is 6 to 14 years of everyone, free and compulsory education is to be given to each and every Indian child. And to make it more emphatically, SSA have started, that is Sarva Sikhya education, that is education for all. These are the different kinds of changes that we can see right from the Vedic system till present day. So here we see that how social change has changed the educational scenario also. So, need for educational reorganization. So, what is the need for educational reorganization? So, we see that education will lose its social relevance if it does not change. It will become outdated. Why? Because one has to move according to the needs and requirements of the society. So here, the needs and requirements and the demands of the society should be taken into consideration while framing the aims and objectives of the society. And accordingly, we have to select the latest methodology of teaching, and accordingly our teachers should be trained, and in that way we have to carry out our teaching learning process. Then we say that socio-cultural change or and reinterpretation of educational goals. So here we see that yesterday I was saying that is the reformulation or reinterpretation of goals forms the basis for the reorientation of the content, process and techniques of education. So we have to change our process of teaching, our process of interacting. We have to use the latest technology. Therefore, now we are using smart classrooms, ICT enabled tools. These are the examples of the latest techniques we are using for better classroom transaction. So, then what is the acculturating role of education? So, education has an acculturating role. It refines and sensitizes what the people or the students that contribute to national cohesion. It develops a scientific temper and independence of mind and spirit, thus furthering the goals of socialism, secularism, democracy enshrined in our constitution. So, the values that are found in our constitution is to be carried out to the common mass, and these all things are to be developed within the common mass or in our students. How is it possible? It is only possible through the process of education. Then, multiculturalism, that is cultural pluralism. Culture is not a watertight compartment thing, it is transferable, it is exchangeable. In the same way, we can say that now the entire world is considered as a global village. We exchange our cultural values, traditions, dressing sense, eating habits, interacting. So that's why it is known as a multicultural pattern. So now we can see that even in United States or Australia, Britain, people follow people over there, the residents of those continents are not belonging to a one particular race. They are of different race. They profess different kind of religion. So here we can say that multiculturalism is the latest trend or cultural pluralism. So here we see that now the entire world is considered as a global village, sharing some or the other cultural trait of a different culture. Then learning to live together. We should learn to live together. Each and everyone should have a motto, live and let live. We should not have a selfish motive. And education will help us to have a broader outlook towards life, will help us to develop cooperative attitude, sympathetic attitude, broad vision. These are the things that will help us to live together. Referring to the report of Deller's Commission, that is Learning to Live Together, which has emphasized on how to enable students to live together. It is imperative to reorient the school curricula so as to include content appropriate for the development of tolerance and respect for other cultures. We should teach our students, that is how to pay respect to other culture, people belonging to other caste, people of different religion, how to respect them, how to have a friendly approach towards them, how to share things with them. These all things are to be taught in the classroom. Then only we can say that the individual will develop attitude which will have a which will help in building a cooperative society, a cooperative environment. Then group methods of instructions are there, should be encouraged, because these provide an opportunity to the students to work in group. For example, giving them assignments, project works, where they each and every member of the group will participate. They'll have a we feeling. They will understand how to share and work. These will also reduce their conflict. They will have tolerance. They'll develop tolerance. They will develop mutual respect, mutual understanding, cooperation. These all qualities are very much required, because in the present scenario or in the present society, these all qualities are lacking. And if we instill these qualities in our students, they are the future citizens of our country, and the country's nation's future depends upon these particular students. So we have to develop these qualities within our students so that when they become citizen, they will try to develop a better India. So in this way, we have covered up the first part of our session, that is how there is a relationship between the different subsystems of society and how education acts as a social subsystem, how it helps in the cultural exchange or change of different types of cultural values. It helps in the transmission, preservation, enrichment of culture. Then, how we have to teach our students to understand the cultural values and ethics of other people. Then, the group values and norms, and how culture and group life affect each other. What is the interrelationship between group and cultural values and ethics? Then we move on to education, some significant historical development. So education's historical development, right from the, we move from Vedic system, will be going from Vedic system to the present scenario. The ancient Indian education is otherwise known as the Vedic system of education. So, in the Vedic system of education, the main focus was what? The main important aims or features of Vedic system of education are sublimation of instincts, development of spiritual values, growth of character and personality, development of knowledge, fulfillment of duty, protection of culture. These are some of the important aims of Vedic system of education. Vedic system of education, one of the oldest of, tracing back to the Indian history, we can say that the Vedas also hold important position during the Vedic period. So, realization of supreme power is also an important aim. Preservation of ancient culture, cultivation of spiritual moral values, achievement of perfection, and vocational efficiency. These are the some of the important aims and objectives of Vedic period of education. Then the curriculum. What are the different types of curriculum that were included during that period? Vedic literature, moral lessons, philosophy, grammar, language, astrology, logic, physical education. So, they also focused upon all round development of education. Then, what were the methods that were carried out? That is, Sravana, that is, the students used to listen to their gurus. Then manana, try to meditate it. Then meditation. They learn through meditation by listening to their gurus. Then comes the Buddhist system of education. The Buddhist system of education had a typical admission procedure that is known as Pabaja. So, what was done in that particular thing? That particular system, that is, the student was expected to have to observe celibacy of mind, body, and the main aim was the propagation of what? Monastic values, and they used to say three things, or they used to follow or take vow or promise, that is, I take refuge in Buddha, I take refuge in Dharma, I take refuge in Sangha. They have to obey 10 rules, that is, abstaining from theft, killing of any living being, impure conduct, then taking food from outside, use of intoxicating things, use of cosmetics, taking things without being offered, accepting objects of gold and silver in alms, watching dances, or listening to musics. So these all things were strictly prohibited. They were not allowed to do that. Being a student, you have to obey these 10 rules. You should observe brahmacharya, and this particular ritual was known as the Pabacha ritual. Then comes the Upasampada ritual. What is that? That is the end of your educational career. These all things come under the Buddhist system of education. So, after attaining 20 years of education, then comes the Upasampada occasion, where they are now called as bhikshus. If the male student, then bhikshu, and if female, then bhikshuni. So here we say that they have completed 20 years of education. The total period of education is 22, composed of 12 years of Pabaja and 10 years of Upasampada. So, here we see that the teacher student relationship was just like a father son relationship, very cordial. There was parental relationship, there was faith, respect, love, affection was there, but discipline was also there. But education of women did not occupy a better position during the Buddhist period. Women were not considered to be, they were not considered important as compared to their male counterpart. So they were inferior to the male students. Then vocational education was also given, and the subjects that were included were agriculture, commerce, cottage industry, animal husbandry, then education in writing. These all were medicine. These all were given under the vocational education. Then comes the Islamic education. Islamic education, that is during the medieval period. So the objectives of Islamic education was acquisition of knowledge, propagation of Islam, social morals, material progress, and Muslim culture. So these all things were the main objectives of Islamic education. The two institutions that were found during that time was Maktab and Madrasa. Primary is the Maktab and the secondary or higher part is the Madrasa. The method of teaching was oral, then discussion was also carried out, then the lecture method of teaching was also there. Then we'll move on to, that is, our post independence development. Then, prior to that, there is the British education. Then comes the post independence development, where we find different constitutional provision. Among it, that is the important articles which is to be understood and remembered are Article 14, Article 15, 16, 17, 24, 25, 28, 29, 30, 41, 45, 46, 246, 337, 343, 345, 346, 347, 350A, 351, 246. So these are some of the important constitutional provisions which were laid down after the independence. And we see that these are very important in the sense you can also find it out in your books also. That is, let me discuss some of the important constitutional provisions. So, in Article 14, that is equality before law, the state shall not deny to any person equality before the law or equal protection of law within the territory of India. That is, here we see that in the eyes of law, each and everyone is equal. Justice is to be provided on equal grounds. Whether you are rich, you are poor, whether you belong to a higher caste or to a lower caste. Then, Article 15, prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. So, there will be no discrimination on the grounds of religion, race, caste, gender, or your place of birth. Then comes abolition of untouchability, that is Article 17. Untouchability. So here we say that is abolished. And if someone practices that, that is to be considered as an offense in the eyes of law. Then Article 24, that is prohibition of employment of children in factories. So no more child labor. You are not allowed to employ any child under the age of 14. Then, Article 25, freedom to manage religious affairs. That is, you are free to follow any religion of your wish. Then, Article 28, freedom of attendance at religious instructions or religious workshop in certain educational institutions. So, you are allowed to attend your religious workshop. Then Article 29, protection of interest of minorities. Minorities' interests are to be protected. Then 30 says that Article 30, right of minorities to establish and administer educational institutions. So educational institutions are minority people can have their own educational institutions. For examples, there are some mission schools, that is the Christian people have started, some ashram schools following some typical guru, they have also started. So have we can start these kind of educational institutions also. Then Article 41, that is right to work, to education and to public assistance in certain cases. Then comes very important, that is Article 45, that is provision for free and compulsory education for all children. That is very important. Why? Now here we can see that, that is the age group of 6 to 14. India provides free and compulsory education according to the constitutional provision. Then comes Article 46, that is promotion of educational and economic interest of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes and other weaker sections, that both their economic and educational interest is to be protected, is to be safeguarded through this particular article. Whose? That is SC and ST and other weaker sections of society. Then Article 246, subject matter of laws made by Parliament and by the legislature of state. That is, the laws that are made by the Parliament and state legislature are to be maintained. Then Article 337, special provision with respect to educational grants for the benefit of the Anglo-Indian community. So Anglo-Indian community also has the right to have educational grants. Then 343, that is Article 343, official language of the Union. 345, official language or languages of the state. Then 346, official language for communicating between one state and another or between state and the Union. Article 347, special provision relating to language spoken by a section of the population of state. Article 350A facilitates for instruction in mother tongue at primary stage. 351, directive for directive for development of the Hindi language. Then the 246 refers to the 7th schedule. So here we see that these are some of the important constitutional provisions or the articles which provide lot of benefits to the Indians. Then we move on to different commissions and committees. Different commissions and committees. The first one is the Radhakrishnan Commission 1948, that is appointed as University Education Commission under the chairmanship of Dr. Radhakrishnan in November 1948. The main aim of this particular commission was, the aim of university education should be both for the training of minds and training of souls. It should give both knowledge and wisdom. So here the education should be in such a manner that it should train the soul and also the mind. So here it focuses upon all-round development of the individual. Then it must aim at developing the value of democracy, justice, liberty, equality, fraternity among the students. So these are the important cardinal values which are very important. That is, democracy should be there, justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. These are important because these also hold important place in our constitution. Then develop the thought of love for higher values of life. One should have a love and affection towards other fellow beings. So that is also important. Then central aim of university education should be the training for leadership in the profession and public life. So one should develop leadership quality both in the professional life and also in the public life. Then what are the major recommendations of this particular commission? So here we say that aims and objectives have been finished. Then the recommendation regarding standards of teaching, the commission recommended that in each province, a large number of well-equipped intermediate colleges be established, large number of vocational institutions to be opened. Then the minimum days of working should be 180 days. The lectures should be supplemented by tutorials, library work, and written exercises. So these are some of the recommendations regarding the teaching. Then regarding examination, here we say that examinations should be selected with great care. Marking should be done under controlled conditions. Uniform standards should be observed in the examination system. Grace marks should be abolished. These are some of the recommendations given by the Commission regarding the examination system. Then, regarding postgraduate and training and research, here comes what? That is, there should be uniformity in the regulation of MA and MSc degree. Admission to these courses should be on all India basis. The training for PhD degree should extend over a period of at least 2 years. Delete degrees should be awarded on published work of outstanding quality. So here, these are some of the important recommendations regarding your postgraduate training and research work. Then comes the medium of instruction. So this particular committee focused upon, that is, three language system, that is the regional language, the federal language, and English. Then the federal languages should be developed through the assimilation of words from various sources. English should be studied in high schools and in universities so that it will be a link language for dealing with foreign countries. Then women's education. So it had something to say about women's education also. What is that? Women should be provided with all facilities in general. Special opportunity should be given to the education of women. Then co-education may be given in university but not at the secondary stage. So these are some of the recommendations regarding women's education. Then student welfare. The award of scholarship should be there on merit basis. So scholarship program should be there. Free medical checkup for the students. Then NCC and social services should be there. And compulsory physical education for both men and women in the university and colleges for at least 2 years. So these are some of the recommendations of Radhakrishnan University Commission. Then comes your Mudaliar Commission. So Mudaliar Commission, that is in the year 1952, and it was appointed under, who was appointed as the chairman? Dr. Lakshman Swami Mudaliar as the chairman of the commission. It is otherwise also known as Secondary Education Commission, that is in the year 1952. So the major recommendations, the major area of focus was to develop democratic citizenship, development of overall personality was there, education for developing leadership qualities, improvement of vocational capability and efficiency of the student so that it will enhance the productivity, and it will also make the student, it will also help the student to get employment. Then the concept of world citizenship, that is developing the qualities of patriotism and citizenship. So these were some of the important recommendations of Mudaliar Commission 1952. Then comes the Kothari Commission, that is 1964-66 under the chairmanship of Dr. D.S. Kothari. So this particular commission focused upon what? That is increase in production, social and national integration, consolidation of democracy, speeding the process of modernization, building the character for the development of social and spiritual values. These were some of the important education and national objectives that are to be focused under this particular commission. Then it also favored for 10 plus 2 plus 3 system of education. Here, it also gave emphasis on teacher status. That is, the scale of pay of teachers of government and non-government schools should be the same. Then, teachers training or teachers education were also given importance. So, next comes equalization of educational opportunities. That is, irrespective of your gender, both boys and girls should be given equal opportunity for education. Even the backward class people or backward caste, they should be also given opportunity for good education. Then, expansion of school education. Then, the school curriculum is to be developed. Then amendment of the three language formula. Hindi as a national language, English should be done there. Then at the primary stage, mother tongue or regional language should be also taught. So here we say that we can see that this particular commission touched each and every aspect of education. Then comes the 5-year plans. What are the different 5-year plans? So there are 10 5-year plans. The first 5-year plan was the first 5-year plan focused upon the basic education. It also introduced necessary changes in the secondary education according to the needs of rural population. Then it encouraged women education. It also wanted to have effective coordination between various aspects related to education. It also gave emphasis on training of teachers at all levels. Then it also it also emphasized upon checking wastage in the university education, wanted to have reform in the examination system, develop vocational and technical education, and to spread literacy. Then comes the second 5-year plan, that is from 1954. So in that particular year, an educational conference was there to discuss the various educational schemes and programs for the first 5-year plan. And causes of failure of the program were also discussed. So the conference reached the following decisions. So what were the decisions that were carried out? That is, basic education should be expanded, multi-purpose schools should be there, the secondary schools should be converted into multi-purpose schools, military education should be there, cultural education should be there, and to reorganize and develop vocational and technical education. Then the third 5-year plan. The third 5-year plan, the object of this plan was to make primary education compulsory for children between 6 to 11 years of age. And the rupees 500 crores was spent for this particular plan period, so that we can see that different kinds of development was carried out. In this plan, technical education was given preference over other items. Then it also focused upon primary education, secondary education. 1515 high schools were converted into multi-purpose schools. University education were there also. Then the social education, moral education, and even technical education were also given. Then comes the fourth 5-year plan, which emphasized upon primary education, secondary, higher, vocational, physical, adult, and even it had some important, gave importance upon development of language, proper development of textbook, for which the National Council of Educational Research and Training contributed a great in the improvement of textbook. Then suggestion for reforms in the education. Then comes the fifth 5-year plan and education. So here rupees 1726 crore was allotted for the fifth plan of education. In the same way, it also dealt with the primary, secondary, and even university education. Then comes the sixth 5-year plan. where more emphasis was given to qualitative development of secondary and higher education. Then, the main objectives of the seventh five-year plan was to pay special attention to the backward class, emphasizing vocational education at the secondary level, specialization at the university level, reform and expand of technological and vocational education. So these were some of the important objectives of the seventh five-year plan. So then comes the eighth five-year plan, that is from 1992 to 1997. It also laid emphasis on university and higher education, then secondary education. It also laid emphasis upon opening NOS, that is National Open School. It gave emphasis upon National Council of Teacher Education, that is for providing training in teacher education. Then vocational education, education of the handicapped and establishment of Navodaya Vidyalaya was also there. Technical educations like polytechnics were also established. So here we can say that these are some of the important plans that were carried out, and accordingly these were done so that there will be improvement in the entire educational system. Then we move on to some of the important qualities and standards in education. Important qualities and standards in education, that is NCRT, UGC, NCTE. These are important organizations or institutions that help for quality improvement and improvement of standards in education. The first one is NCRT. So, NCRT, that is the National Council of Educational Research and Training, was established in September 1961 in New Delhi as an autonomous body for the improvement and excellence in school education, teacher education. So here we have to say that this helps for the improvement of school education, teacher education. So what are the important roles of NCRT? To undertake, promote and coordinate research work, pre-service, in-service training to teachers, extension service work, developing educational techniques, instructional material, and a clearinghouse of ideas of information. It also takes into consideration the improvement and publishing of different school textbooks also. So these are some of the important functions of NCRT. Then we move on to SCRT. SCRT, that is State Council of Educational Research and Training, established in the year in 1979. It main focuses upon undertaking and promoting coordinate research work, improvement of teacher education, advancement of primary education, preparation of curricula and textbook, teachers training, extension services to teachers, preparation of instructional materials. So the things that were carried out at the center level, that is at the national level, was taken care by NCRT, and at the state level we have the SCRT. Then comes UGC. So UGC, University Grants Commission. It was established in the year 1956 at New Delhi. So what are the important functions it performs? It promotes and coordinates university education. It determines and maintains standard of teaching, maintains standard of examination, determines and maintains standard of research in university. So here, these are some of the important functions or role performed by UGC. It provides financial assistance for the development of postgraduate department in universities and colleges. It determines the pay scale of college and university teachers. It provides grants for construction of staff quarters or hostels for the students. It provides teacher fellowship. Then it provides assistance to the teacher to visit foreign countries for research work. It publishes reports and journals, organizes different kinds of seminars, workshops, research work. Then it also establishes centers of advanced study of university for the improvement of standards in education. So these are some of the important function or the role performed by UGC. Then we move on to National Council for Teacher Education. National Council for Teacher Education, it was established in the year and was it was established in the year 1955 with the objectives of achieving planned and coordinated development of teacher education system. Teacher education system, regulation, proper maintenance of norms and standards of teacher education, and it is to look into everything that to do with the teacher education, that is your pre-service training, in-service training, refresher work, workshop, refresher courses, everything. And it has four regional centers also there, that is we have the four regional committees for the northern, southern, eastern and western regions have been set up at Jaipur, Bangalore, Bhubaneswar and Bhopal respectively. So then we see that there are some important functions of NCTE also. Let me say some of the important functions of NCTE. To provide information about the status of teacher education to the central government, to provide data about the planning and progress of teacher education to the state government, to prepare different plans for the progress of teacher education, to supervise the teacher education program, to prepare some guidelines for teacher education curriculum, to prepare some instructional materials required by the teacher or teacher educator. So these are some of the important functions or roles performed by NCT. Then we'll move on to National Institute of Open Schooling. It was established in November 1989. It was an autonomous body, and here we see that it emphasized upon it was established to provide education to school dropouts and those who could not attend regular classes. So, National Institute of Open Schooling or NOS was established to provide education to those students or children who are considered as school dropouts or were not able to go to regular classes. Open schooling is a significant innovation for complementing the formal education. So it is just like an alternative way for having what formal education. And this the main focus of NOS was that is to provide education mainly to the rural youths, girls, women, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, handicap, and ex-servicemen. These were the person who were in the focus area for getting education. Then comes our IGNU, that is Indira Gandhi National Open University. So in September 1985, it was introduced, and for the distance education system, it was done so that lot of people can continue education along with the if they are employed or if they are not able to attend regular classes. So Indira Gandhi National Open University was a nationwide open university was established. The major objective of this particular university was widening the access to higher education. Widening the access to higher education, then organizing program for continuing education, and for interested people, that is those who have not been able to complete their education, or those people just like who are in service people, and special target groups like women, people living in backward areas or hilly areas who are not able to go or to attend regular classes. So IGNU has a flexible, open And we can say that here the enrollment procedure, the age of entry, the method of evaluation, in each and every aspect we find flexibility. So IGNOU introduced its program in 1987, and so far it has launched 39 programs consisting of 486 courses. So we find that is an indeed open university throughout the country, across the country. It is beneficial to lot of people, and it also provides some programs. It also telecasts programs on Doordarshan. IGNOU programs are there. Even it broadcasts its programs on All India Radio. Right from 1992, it has started these all programs. Then we move on to education support required. Education supports required, where we find what are the resources in education. Educationists have been defining that education differently. According to Plato, education is a system which guides the youth to proper logical discourse supported by rules and regulation accepted on the basis of preceding generation. Aristotle had recognized education as a social and practical art. So here we can say that education indeed is the necessity of the society. We cannot imagine a society without education. So what are the different resources in education? So for achieving the aims of education, it is very much desired that education should be based on more practical experiences, because first and foremost the aim of education is to educate an individual to solve the problems of life. So we should educate our children so that they'll be able to face the problems of their life. They should able to take their decision. They should not be indecisive. They should be able to practically face their problems in life. So education will help. It will act as a weapon to fight back. So here we see that the present system of education has been divided into four stages, that is pre-primary, primary, secondary and high secondary. All these levels of educations, there is to be funding, and our availability of resources is also required. So here we have to say that these all things come under the resources in education. Effective functioning of any institution of society depends upon the support. From where will we get the support? Who will fund? Who will provide the financial assistance? Here comes the grant in aid system. We find different categories of educational institution. Some are privately managed, some are aided institution, some are purely government in nature. So these all things come under from whom they are getting the financial support. Here, the importance of education in human life has increased in modern times. A child needs to learn more to lead an effective life. So here we have to say that if a child needs education to lead an effective life, so it becomes our responsibility to provide good education, and therefore that good education is to be funded. Without funding, how the education institution will sustain? Where will the teachers get, from where will the teachers get their salaries? How the educational infrastructure is to be maintained? So here we see that the resources for education, there are financial resources, that is contribution by the state through taxation, contribution by the receiver of education through different fees, contributions of voluntary donations. There are some people who donate, then contribution by the industry and state. What are the different resources of education? First one is the financial, then comes the human resources, that is the teachers, the teaching staff, the non-teaching staff, the administrators, the supporting staff, the lab assistants, the technical staff. All of them fall under the category of human resources. Then the infrastructure and learning resources, that is the building, the furniture, the books, the labs, laboratory, the computer lab, sports and health services. All these come under the infrastructure. And then comes finally the other resources, that is other organization, involvement of community, community participation. So here these are the four different types of resources. First the financial resources, then the human resources, then infrastructure and learning resources, and finally some other resources. So financial resources, we can say that we have free and compulsory education for the age of 14. Then we have promotion of education and economic interest of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes and other weaker sections. We also provide equality of opportunity of education for all citizens, and we have financial subsidy and reservation of seat for students belonging to the weaker sections of society. Now, the particularly education now falls under the concurrent list. That is, it is the responsibility of both the state and the center. That is, providing education or funding education is now the responsibility of both the center and the state, since it comes under the concurrent list. So here we have to say that there are some private bodies are also there who manage their educational institutions. Then, although private bodies were there to manage and promote education, the content of the course at the school level was coordinated by the Board of Secondary Schools in the respective states, and for the Union territories by the Central Board of Secondary Education. There are school boards or Board of Education who decide what is the curriculum should be, the admission procedure, the course of study, the examination pattern are decided by the Board of Education. Then, after the independence, we see the state gave greater financial support to the development of education by mobilizing resources to taxation. Through different taxation, we see that the state is trying to provide or mobilize resources. That is, fee concession to weaker section, financial subsidy to students belonging to scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Then tax rebates are also there. The state also regulated the fee and kept the rate low in the state supported and state managed institutions of education. So sometimes we see that fees are also, there is concession of fees. Sometimes we see financial subsidy. Sometimes we see tax rebates. So these are different provisions for mobilizing the resources for education. Then comes the human resources, the teaching staff. For the teaching staff, there should be pre-service training so that well qualified teachers are appointed. There should be in-service training, refresher courses so that the teachers' knowledge are upgraded and developed so as to meet the present demands of the society, so that to satisfy our students. Then comes what? There are different levels also. The powerful relationship between teacher and learner is central to the teaching process. At present in India, teacher education for primary level is for 2 years. At secondary level, the entry qualification is bachelor degree with a graduate level teacher education course of 1 year duration. For higher education, there is national eligibility test that is required for your lectureship. So these are some of the important things that comes under the human resource, that is teaching staff. Then we have National Council for Educational Research and Training. It is an autonomous body. SIE, that is State Institute of Education. We have SCRT also. These all institutions or organization look into the proper functioning of curricula, improvement of curriculum, textbook preparation, upgradation of teacher training institutions. Then we move on to another thing, that is administration staff. So new organization which looks at the in-service programs for the school principals. There are not sufficient programs to cover the whole population of this category, but it focuses upon the academic administration, the financial management, the control and maintenance of the entire campus. We have academic administration executives like heads, head of departments, deans, deputy registrars, and officers. or and officers in finance also. And there are some in charge of departments also. So these people are trained by the new NUPA. Then comes your physical resources, infrastructure,
Madam, your
and
voice
learning
is breaking,
resources.
madam.
Hello?
Voice is breaking. Ma'am, your voice is breaking. Please listen.
Okay.
Hello,
So
madam.
physical resources, again.
Madam, good
Yes,
evening.
sir.
Actually, I'm in out of.
Good evening, sir.
Uh, Good evening. I am just sharing the those are the MA education. Please make a WhatsApp group. Okay, this is the same link, and you can share all friends.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and
Okay,
this
sir.
class can be taken by other than IGNOU people. If somebody is doing MA education in Uttar University or Ravenshaw University, they can join, and you can share the link.
Oh,
I am just sharing the
okay, sir.
information to the learners. So please share the link to your friends or make a WhatsApp group one number and share the link so that more number of learners can join and they can enjoy the class. Okay.
So we have already a group, WhatsApp group, but we are only 3-4 members.
Sorry.
So we have already a group on
No, I
WhatsApp.
don't know. You can make it the group because in
Sure.
you can some of you can interact and you can make a group. I will send the message. You can send me my mobile number. I am just writing. You include
Sure.
me, MA Education.
Sure.
Just I will share the link. So it will be
Okay.
easy to
Access. Yes, sir.
77356757 is my mobile number. You make a group. So I will share the link. So you can share all the people as much you want. MA education,
Yeah.
those need that subject. Okay, it will continue around 24 days in every day. And madam is taking 7 to 9. She is interested to take. And other people, according to schedule, it will run 3 to 5. Okay, so again, message will also will share it. And thank you. If
Okay, sir.
information or anything trouble, let me give a message this mobile number 7735675772. I am the coordinator of this course as well as I am the coordinator of this Ravenshaw University Study Center. I am running. If I am not there, will somebody also running this link. Okay. So in absence, suppose I may not be there, so somebody is also running this link and in scheduled time, the class will definitely start. Thank you all. Okay. Thank you, madam. Sorry for disturbing.
Thank you.
You
No,
can.
sir, it's okay.
Okay. Thank you, madam.
So we were dealing with physical resources, infrastructure, and learning resources. So what are the different infrastructure that we find in our school? That is library, laboratory, that is well ventilated classroom. There should be proper sitting arrangement, good condition of the blackboard, good condition of the furniture. These all things is to be looked. These all things are to be taken care of. That is, in addition to the human resources, there are some physical resources. That is, library, laboratory, classroom, and it should be appealing to the eye and should be sound in respect of the light, ventilation, and several other considerations which influence the quality of education in the school. The classroom learning should be joyful. Therefore, classroom should be well maintained, neat, clean, well ventilated. There should be proper lighting, sitting arrangement. The blackboard should be fixed in a proper way so that the learner feels comfortable enough to attend the class. Again, there is the importance of laboratory work also. So, as we know that learning by doing is also one of the important features in our educational psychology. So, here we say that laboratory work is also important. Therefore, our lab should be well equipped. So there should not be any shortage of equipments or chemicals. Everything should be upgraded. Then we see that there is a lot of dissatisfaction regarding the conventional laboratory work is not carried out properly. We have a lesser number of equipments or lesser number of chemicals. That should not be the thing. So everything should be managed properly. Technical skills or technicians should be there. Lab assistant should be there. there should be systematic carrying out of all the teaching learning procedures. Then comes the library. Library is the hub or the center of intellectual or literary work. So we should always upgrade our library. New books should be there. Encyclopedia should be there. Thesis should be there. Different types of varieties of writers are there. Latest copies should be there. These all should be upgraded so that students will find, we will have developed the love or pleasure for reading. Then comes play or the playground. There should be proper playground. Maintenance must be there. Students should enjoy. Then computer facilities. That is, our computer lab should be updated. We should have all the computers should be in the functioning condition. It should be maintained properly. So these all things come under the physical resources or infrastructure. Then your canteens, lawns, gardens, these all things should also be taken care of. Proper food should be provided to the students. Then
Hello. Hello.
Sir, madam has left.
Something maybe problem we may come. And while the teaching, you stop the video, please. While the whenever
Sorry.
counselor is teaching, so please stop the video. Whenever you are asking or interacting, that time you can switch on video. Okay,
Okay,
switch
sir.
on video. Okay, just I am calling. Okay, just. Okay. Maybe madam has some problem. She will come back soon. Maybe. Do you have madam phone number? Hello. Anybody else from Lornar?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Do you have madam phone number?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
It is already displayed in the website because program was there at time. That program phone number we have given. So from the website you should download the program and there's a phone number. If any communication, because I left the mobile in my home, so I am not able to talk with her. So anybody is having the phone number can talk. What is the problem? Is there in that side? Maybe line is not there or something. Internet may be gone up. Somebody can talk. Okay, just you can check in website and take the number. Just I am checking. Mobile number already. Just wait, she may come back. Okay. Just I will check it. Hello. Hello. Please note down the phone number of Money. Money
Yes, sir.
986 triple one
986.
9667. Is it clear to all of you? My sound is okay. My voice is
Yes, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Nine
sir.
eight
Okay, fine.
six triple one 9667. Madam, the phone number है. You can contact with her. Say what's the problem? Whether we will continue or we will discontinue, or we can connect with you because I am in online. If she will come, then I will enter to her.
Okay, sir.
Anybody call? Some people are left or what? Road a good achievement. Anybody call?
Yes, sir. Someone calling, ma'am.
Okay, okay, thank you. Just what she's telling, then
Okay, sir.
let me know. If she'll continue, then it's okay.
Yes, sir.
This is a good time for all of you.
Sir?
This is a good time. 7 to 9 is okay, all of you. For you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So try to connect all the peoples. Okay, those are already given the email. Suppose somebody is not getting the email or by miss, so you can inform him or her. Classes name, it is the classes. It is the interacting classes. You can interact, and you can before classes also. You should have some knowledge.
Yes, sir.
So it will be good interact.
So I talked to madam and she says she is trying to reconnect.
She will reconnect. She will reconnect.
She's trying to reconnect again.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
okay,
She's
okay,
trying.
okay. No problem. Yeah, I'm not inviting. Maybe wait. Paper. Yeah, paper. Eh? Yeah. Asune. Hello. Yeah, madam. Should you join? Okay. Okay, madam has joined. मैडम स्पीकर का आपनकर ऑफ अछि
ହେଇଛି ସାର୍ ହେଇଛି ହେଇଛି
हां हां
ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆଜ୍ଞା
पुणी ऑफ हो जाउछि स्पीकर का
ଏବେ ହେଲା ସାର୍
हां अबे हला
ଆଜ୍ଞା
थैंक यू
ଆଜ୍ଞା 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 ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
हां यू कैन स्टार्ट
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
Yes, madam.
Yes,
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 madam. We
ma'am.
are here.
ହଁ so am I audible
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
okay so we were there in resource mobilization and utilization resource mobilization at various levels. So most of the finances for education come from the state, which mobilizes most of its resources from taxation. Fees are the another sources. So sometimes we see that that is resource mobilization for finance comes from taxation also, from fees also. But we can say that for 6 to 14 age group, we have free and compulsory education in the government schools. But whereas in privately managed schools, the students have to pay fees. So in this way, we can say there are three different types of educational institution: private educational institution, aided and unaided schools are there. And those which are private and unaided schools, they also charge high fees for the admission and entire schooling procedure. Then we see there are effective resources utilization, that is, a variety of resources flow into the education sector, that is physical, human, financials. They flow from various sectors, that is central, state, and local governments. Foreign governments also fund. There are some organizations or institutions which fund education in various countries. So we can say that
Guys, madam already again left. So I think it is high time we shall stop here.
Yes, yes. There is some network problem, I think.
Yes, there is some kind of problem. Sir, can you please disconnect this? Hello, sir.
There is.
हां टेल मी
Sir, madam
हेलो
already left again. So there is some
हां
kind of
अगेन
technical problem might be. So
technical problem or net problem or she is not having net pack something is wrong going on okay
yes, sir.
so probably I think let us just call if she is agree then we can stop okay
Okay, sir.
and madam actually take the 7 to have you got the that one have you got the program
So program schedule.
schedule
Uh, yes.
total schedule it is displayed in the
Yes,
ISMO website.
yes, sir. I have downloaded.
Okay, okay, okay. So you can share with these all people. Okay. Just
Okay,
timing
sir.
it will change. If it will timing it will change, I will inform and link will be same.
Yes, sir.
Link will be same for all days. Try to uh, join the more people. Okay. I
Okay,
think
sir.
today I will inform all the postgraduate students of 11th and 11th quality so they can all to join and interact and enjoy the classes. Probably, madam, actually, I left my mobile in my home. Okay, I'm in department. So probably somebody will collect call and confirm.
Sir, I'm calling again.
Uh-huh. Thank you.
Hello. हेलो सर.
Yes, tell me.
सर हमारा स्टडी मटेरियल कब आएगा?
Study material, actually, you should get it. If you want the study material, you can in the website, it will be there.
Yes, sir. I have some soft copies, but
Hard
there is
copy, you have to contact the regional center.
okay, sir.
Okay. We are the study center is only dealing with the classes and assignment and project. Okay, they are
Yes, sir.
the persons. They should. They are the responsible persons to involve the study materials. And you can download from website. I also downloaded from the website. Trying it.
Okay, sir.
So for the timing use, you can download from the website and just manage, or you can complain to RC.
सर
Okay.
कौन सा वेबसाइट में डाउनलोड करूँगी?
Yes,
सर कौन सा वेबसाइट में डाउनलोड होगा स्टडी मटेरियल?
website, study center, regional as regional center, Bhubaneswar. It is there. Study materials you have to keep and you have to source में उसमें program लिखो, then you can get it.
Yes, sir. इगेन कोर्स और इग्नूमेट में मिल जाता है.
I think madam, she has joined.
Hello.
Madam, okay. Your
Ah,
voice, your microphone is off. Uh,
hello.
okay, okay. Yes.
So we were saying that financial resources play an important role in education. So financing of education should be based on financing for productivity and economic growth, financing for equity and financing for efficiency and financing for diversity. So the main focus for financing should be for equity, for efficiency and for diversity. So we emphasize on there is the main focus is on quality of education. The way we finance the education, the way we carry out the entire thing depends upon whether the quality is maintained or not. Again, there are different organizations which are who are there for looking after the quality of our education. That is NCRT, NCTE, NUPA, DIET. These are the organizations and institutions who look after the proper functioning or quality of our education. Okay. Then we move on to the community participation and support in education. The community participation and support in education says that what is a community? Community is a group of individuals who share such as culture, language, tradition, geography, law, and these all people combined, they have their own cultural identity, their own language, tradition, geography, law, and these all people combined, they have their own culture and identity. So
Sir, the same problem is being repeated, so now there is definitely some problem. Sir, can you hear me? Sir, unmute yourself. Your voice is not audible. Sir, unmute yourself.
Hello. Uh-huh.
Yes, sir. Audible. Yes.
Yes. Maybe some internet problem may be there. So she will stop. I will tell her to rectify in the next class. Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay. So probably, what is the problem is going on?
Sir, there might be some kind of network issue or any technical error might be there with her. We all are connected now. We have no problem here. The
Yeah,
problem
yeah.
is there
We
from
don't have
madam's side.
problem.
So
Yes, sir.
So I will ask her um, to solve that problem in the next class. It should not be happened repeatedly. Because here we don't have any problem.
yes, sir. We have no problem here. The
You are
problem is from
connecting
her
to
side.
mobile or you are connecting which internet?
Sir, Geo.
Geo mobile, huh?
Yes, sir.
So Geo mobile, huh? Geo, all of our Geo or broadband?
No, no, sir. I have Airtel.
Airtel. Okay, Airtel is good. Maybe madam is having something that with Geo is sometime it is going and it's coming in the mobile. If
Yes, sir.
you
Yes, sir.
couple in landline, nothing will happen. And speed is good, clarity is good. And are you getting my voice very clearly?
Yes, sir. Your
Yes,
voice
sir.
is
Yes,
clear.
sir.
So I think BSNL broadband is good. And if you have, I think I would suggest her to connect with the broadband. Otherwise, it is very difficult to continue. So
Sir,
how does
we
class
have
going
created a
on?
group. Uh,
Yes,
Sir, we have created a group. Shall I
ah,
add you there?
yes. Just you
Okay,
add the
sir.
MA education.
Okay, sir.
MA education, right?
Yes.
So I will connect. I'll just send because I left my mobile. So today I'll send the program, whatever you program, because it will continue again tomorrow. Huh? So tomorrow this time, so at least 50 people should join. You should interact. It's a very good platform. क्लास तो होगा अगर सपोज मैडम चला गया बीच में तुम लोग तो इंटरेक्ट करो क्या पढ़ेगा what type of question will come and you can interact. Okay, it's a very good platform.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
जितना भी उनकी इंटरेक्ट करेगा उतना भी नॉलेज बढ़ेगा.
हाँ, sir.
The topic. Okay. So first I'll talk to Dharitri Patra. I talk. Can you switch on your microphone? Okay. So all of you, what is your planning? Means all of you continue this program or other than you are doing something. So
Hello.
madam, some problem is going on. Maybe some in mobile internet or some mobile.
Hello.
Hello. We are getting your voice.
Okay. So we see that how the involvement through the mere use of service is there, involvement through the contribution of money.
I think there is some problem. Okay.
Yes, sir. It is already 9, so
stop it. Okay.
We shall end the session here.
Yeah, we should stop it, and I'll discuss with the madam, and I go back to home, and I'll suggest they should connect the BSNL broadband or landline, so it will be very clarity, and it will continue. Nothing will happen. Because here I am continuously, because in the morning 4 to 6 ml psychology is going on. Then after that, this nothing is happening.
Oh,
Okay.
uh, sir,
So
I have a query. If you can help them.
uh, yeah, I will suggest her. Then yesterday it is not giving problem.
No, sir.
Okay. So tomorrow I will try to tell her to clear the internet problem, or she will have a PC or something like that. She should continue. And after the madam, our speaker is Ashok Dansana. He's from Ravenshaw University faculty. He will teach MES 14, MES 14, and next is Lingaraj Satpathy, MES 13. And next is madam. So we have to, the madam has taken the more courses, so we have to inform her. I have to inform her to clear this internet problem. Okay. Do you have any problem?
No, sir. Sir, can we change the time schedule like means continuously for 2 hours? So can we divide the time means in
Time
morning, evening, afternoon like that?
evening. This is the evening time, 11 to 9. Evening actually she has a assignment to evaluate the answer sheet of class 3. Class 3 is, education paper. So she is unable to come in that time, because already we have a plan to do the 3 to 5. So again, when she got the message that we have shifted the schedule 7 to 9. Morning time she will go. So it's difficult. I think 7 to 9 is okay. Or anything else?
Sir, we want to know your name. If you don't mind saving your name, then.
Last classes, I introduced myself. My name is Dr. Sitaram Mahamantra. I'm a faculty from Department of Chemistry, Ravenshaw University, Patal, and I'm the coordinator of this study center to Bangalore. I'm managing all the MA program of IGNO in Odisha, most of the IGNO में जितना भी MSc, MA program, master program, that is going on in Ravenshaw University, and I am managing. So all the classes, those are master degree classes, and all related to master degree. And this coordinator should have the exams. Okay, anybody wants? Anybody want to ask questions? You are from which place? Odia poem and story. I don't know what is your name. Write your name. Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir.
You can write
Hello.
your name. Odia poem and story. So you like that, but you put your name, huh? Like Garijin Path.
Sir, actually, I have a channel there on YouTube, so I had changed my name to this. So now my name is Madhav Naik,
Okay.
and now so I was studying there in Ravenshaw University in 2019. I had joined there in an MA education program, but I got a job here in.
Okay.
So sir, I got a
Why?
job here in Badamba. I'm working here right now. So
Oh,
I left the
where?
course.
Where you got
Sir,
the
in
job?
Badamba block, Cuttack district.
Okay. Okay. Good. Nice to hear.
Hello.
Working as a high school teacher.
Okay, okay. So I think the madam has joined something. See.
Hello.
Okay, madam.
Sir. Hello.
Yes, you can continue, madam.
Yes, sir.
Some problem is internet, madam, is there? Maybe you are using Geo or broadband or BSNL.
Sir, broadband geos.
Okay, okay. Broadband Geo.
Problem regarding. Yes, sir.
What problem is coming means data is means interest.
No, in yesterday, everything was okay.
Madam, maybe your PC or a mobile.
Sir,
Okay,
laptop.
laptop. So it should not be problem. Should not be. Maybe something problem in internet networking.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
okay, madam, continue.
Okay, sir. So we were there in what are the different kinds of community involvement was there. So here we see that involvement through consultation was there, participation in the delivery of services was there, participation in the implementation of delegate powers were there. So we see that there is a requirement of community involvement because it will help in parenting, in communicating, in volunteering, in learning. They also help the students to learn at home. They also try to convince the parents to send them to schools. Then they also help in decision making and also collaborating with the community. So these are some of the important passive and active roles that are performed by the community, as which help them which help as community support for providing proper education. So we see that community participation in education is there. We find different organizations regarding that. For example, the Jansala program, which is there as a collaborative effort of the government of India and 5 UN agencies, that is UNDP, UNICEF, UNESCO, ILO, UNFPA. These are the
So, madam left the class.
Actually, we'll start tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, okay, sir.
So please now the time is already over. If you can take the dinner and okay. Okay, so now I am closing the site. You can inform the madam. I will inform.
Okay, sir.
I will inform. Just I will close the. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we can like.